you are going to determine whether this function is being, if it's shrinking or if it's stretching. So I have given you two different examples here. One is a stretch, one is a shrink. So let's look at those. The first one's f of x equals 1 divided by 10 times x. So I'm going to go to Desmos. And I'm going to type that in. So I'm going to use my keyboard. So f of x is equal to, and I said 1, and it's really 1/10 times, well, and that's not how I wanted it, so let's go back. Go over 1/10 times your actual function. So, which in this case, mine is 1 divided by x, because I am using the inverse function. All right, let's go back over. Okay, so it's given us that there. So this is the first one. Once again, I want to export that picture and click on the link. So I'm going to copy my link, export my image. Okay, and download it. All right, so let's go back to our page, and I'm going to paste in my link. Okay, so there's my link, my graph. And that's the first graph. And so I'm going to paste the picture here. And I left enough room that I can paste both of the pictures when we get there. So let's go down, find my Desmos graph, and I'm going to insert. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's go back to Desmos. Let's type in the next function. F of x is 10 times my function. So Desmos graph, we have f of x is equal to 10 times 1 divided by x. All right, close that. All right, so now we have the blue one. I only want the blue one to show up, so I'm going to turn off this one, and here's my blue one. So once again, I'm going to copy my link, export my picture, and then I'm going to go back, paste my link here. Okay. I just want that link to show up. So it looks like it's going to go into my things below, but oh well. I'm going to insert that photo. Okay, there it is, and choose it. All right, it made it really large. I'm just going to shrink it down so it fits in my little spot over here. I got to shrink a little bit more. Okay, so there they all are. Here's the parent function. Here is the first equation, and here's the second equation. All right, so now I want to know what my x and y intercept. It's going to be kind of hard to see, so we're going to go back to the graph in Desmos. It might be easier to see that. So let's go back, close that out. All right, it still looks like it is not touching the x or y axis, so there's none for that one. And if I look at this one, it still is not touching. It looks like it does, but it's really not. So over here, I'm going to type in none for both. Okay. Now, what do I notice about the two different ones? So if I look at the very first one, so if I look at f of x equals, and we did 1/10 times your function, which is my function is 1 over x. So that's what I did, or be written as like I wrote it above, 1 divided by 10x. All right, so if I look at this one, which is this second graph over here, it's really close to that y and x intercepts, or the x-axis and y-axis, so therefore this one is shrinking. So it's just getting smaller and smaller and closer to the center. All right, now if I look at my other one, which is f of x, and I have it 10 times my function, which is 10 over, or 1 over x, or the same thing as what I wrote below, 10 divided by x. You can write them either way. And this one is stretching. As you can see, it's expanding, it's getting, it's further away from the origin, and it's just stretched out. So that would be stretching. Those are the two different ones you're going to be doing. Today you're going to have to figure out which one is a stretch and which one is a shrink. And they're on different slides. Yours is not going to be compressed into one slide. Yours are going to be in two different slides. So see if you can figure out which one is which. And that's what you're doing today.